Broads Media.
All right, that was a big win for the Eagles. I'm curious, who was your player of the game? Comment down below, and what stood out to you in this action? My personal choice, it's DeVonta Smith. That toe-tapping touchdown was lethal. He had 80 reception yards. He went up and grabbed the football. It was beautiful. So DeVonta Smith is my player of the game. Who is yours? And let me know when you watched what was like, damn, okay. I love hearing from you, so I can't wait to read and respond down below. Before we talk about it in depth, though, if you are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up button also. If you're looking to buy tickets to go to any NBA, NFL, NHL game when the NHL returns, you can use promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout for $20 off. $20 off your tickets? That eliminates all those fees. You don't have to worry about that. You'd be a fool not to get yourself to a game today. I'm dangling a $20 bill in your face. Promo code BROADS. Check that out. And lastly, TikTok at Broads Media. We're implementing some fun cuts over there, and we'll be doing a lot more. Hit the follow button there. With that all being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. Definitely not a beautiful victory, but it was a very important victory as the Philadelphia Eagles, hold their own destiny right in their hands. If they take care of business the rest of the way, and I know that there's other ways, right, with the New Orleans Saints playing the Dolphins, and you can dissect ways that maybe it could be done 1 week from now, 1 week from today. Maybe we're having a conversation, but here's what I know. If the Eagles do what they're supposed to do because they tackle this and they make sure that they take advantage of that situation right in front of their face, they will be playing in a playoff game, and that is just magnificent considering where I thought this team was going to be to start the season. Now they're at 8-7. They're a game over 500, and you want to talk about how bad Mike Glennon is and how much of a loser Joe Judge is. By all means, have at it, because that's reality of the situation. Jake Fromm sucks. This offense was a joke out there. They had no idea what they were doing. They suck. The Giants suck. The Giants suck. The Giants suck. And somehow they're going to continue to move forward with this head coach. Oh, it's laughable. Yeah, the GM's going to go, but now whoever replaces that general manager is forced Daniel Jones and Joe Judge. And I don't know how I missed this all week long, but apparently the Giants were practicing to the Eagles fight song. What the fuck type of message is that? What, we're going to hear this a lot this weekend, fellas. Here we go. Yep. Hey, line it up. Get into your positions, boys. What are you even trying to say when you throw that out there during their practice week? They are a mess. You know, this was laid out perfectly on Twitter. Somehow, some way, Galladay ended up leaving the Lions and went to a worse place. How is that even possible? Oh, man, it's laughable. It's pure comedy, Joe Judge, with those timeouts at the end. But look, there's so much to kind of talk about when it comes to this game. And let me say this right off the shoot here. So when the whole Washington football team COVID thing happened, I was annoyed how the NFL handled it. But then one big thing that I continue to stress is, now that we are here, what do you do with this? What will the outcome be? Adversity will hit, but a team that is going up against odds, and it's a difficult situation, it tells me more about you when you go through that. This isn't rocket science. This is Sports 101. So, okay, handle business against Washington. They did that. And it was less about what was happening with the game being moved to Tuesday and more about that short week against New York. While we're going to start talking about that first half and, you know, you muffed the initial kickoff, which is a disaster. Dallas Goedert drops another pass. Jalen Hurts tries to extend the play. He rolls to his right. Should have been intercepted, but the ball hit the ground, so they escaped a possible nightmare scenario right from the jump. You got drop passes. You got Jalen Hurts. He's getting pressure from behind. behind. Ball's popping loose. Eagles, they end up recovering the football. But it's a mess, right? You're missing field goals. It's crap. That's what it is. It's full of garbage. They end up winning by 24, though. They explode in the second half. Their drive started to get a bit better. Throws were being made. Quez Watkins goes up and grabs the football. DeVonta Smith, pick and choose which play you want to talk about. The one down the right sideline where he high points the football and goes up and gets it beautifully, or his toe-tapping touchdown that happened on that right side as Jalen Hurts escaped, went to his right and threw a dot right on the money. And you know what is so amazing about DeVonta? Look, there's plenty of players in this league that can catch the football. But then there's that next level of intensity when you're a wide receiver, and it's that next level of really studying the fundamentals and these small areas that separate you from the rest of the crew, because there's a bunch of great athletes, right? Guys who can run fast, guys who have speed. Then there's guys who have good hands, right? And you keep building these traits off. And then there's the players who put emphasis on the minor details that just put you into a whole nother tier. And that's what we're seeing with DeVonta Smith with the usage of his feet. DeVonta Toe Tapper Smith is what I'm literally calling this gentleman, because that was beautiful. And the fact that the referees, they decided to call it no touchdown after originally calling it a touchdown on the field, and then they go back and change it again. These broadcasts, too, they're a joke. They don't even show you somehow Hargraves getting a holding call. They don't even tell you, or they say things, but there's nothing to even describe what they're saying. Let's go to commercial break. Oh, there's a holding on the Eagles, and let's go to commercial break. Show me the damn holding! I need to see what happened! What happened? It's unbelievable. How is this the National Football League and we continue to get this slop? Now, I get it. When you see the product on the field in the first half, maybe there's a correlation between why you're getting that and what's on the football field. But ultimately, come on, in all seriousness here, we are talking the highest level of production in sports, and this is the result that we are getting on Sunday afternoons? Please. Getting back to the original point, though, with this Eagles football team, while not pretty, not eye-popping, not beautiful, doesn't that make a lot of sense? They're not a perfect team, and yeah, I don't want them to be starting off. I'm not saying I'm satisfied with it, but they won the game, and they smacked their opponent. They obliterated them. This wasn't even close. It ended up being a massive blowout. You got pressure by your defensive line, resulting in an interception by Rodney McLeod less than 1 minute into the second half. You start scoring some points. You get points on the board. There were some drives here where once they put 3 on the board, it was Eagles take over on their own 45. The Giants tried to play the field position battle where their offense stunk so much they couldn't really move it, but hey, we'll punt it, right? Eagles end up getting it on their 45. Howard bobbles it in the passing game, which was definitely infuriating to watch this team kind of make those type of mental mistakes throughout. There was another play, 2nd and 10. Jalen Reagor, the boos came raining down. Boo! As it should. This was actually the previous drive where Jake Elliott missed the field goal. So you actually have some sort of momentum. Hurts to DeVonta Smith for 22 yards on 3rd and 5. Then Sanders runs it for 14 yards. Hurts to Reagor, nice throw as he's running to the left sideline. Reagor dropped on 2nd and 10. Then you end up getting DeVonta Smith on the next play for a pass interference, which draws everybody back on 3rd and 5. Nick Sirianni screaming about the 3rd down play where they ended up blowing the whistle, where it looked like he wanted to get a free play out of it. He was fired up, and he was so damn emotional on the sidelines. I actually thought, well, I love my head coach throwing some energy out there and being a spark plug, and sometimes teams rally behind it. That's why coaches in the NBA get their technicals. All right, we lose a point here, but let's let's see if this can rally the troops and some flow would be generated from it. I thought that honestly took him way too far out of his headspace, where he was nonstop jawing at the referees and he wouldn't let it go, where it's impacting here. A 3rd and 15 run with Boston Scott to settle for the field goal. You miss it anyway. Not that that's something that you're thinking about, considering how smooth Jake Elliott was to that point, hitting so many damn straight field goals and being someone that you can definitely rely on. Still, though, it's like 3rd and 15. You're playing for a field goal, and I get playing for field goals at times, but it's like, it just felt very soft, and I thought the result almost dictated the mentality of that entire sequence. But when you drop it originally after that Rager, nice throw to Rager, you drop it on 2nd and 10. Think about it. Nice little pass, quick, right out of the hands of Jalen Hurts. Now you're talking about 3rd and 5 and a penalty. Now that draws everybody back, and now you're missing a field goal. If Jalen Rager's not missing that and you're just continuing the nice stretch that you were going on when you were putting together a little bit of noise there after the DeVonta Smith catch and the Miles Sanders run, we're not in that situation. So it's brutal to see. But they end up kicking a field goal. Hurts to Smith, 46-yard gain. Hurts misses Goddard wide open on 3rd and goal, wide open in the back of the end zone. They settle for a field goal there. And in that moment, you have Sanders questionable to return after this, and you also end up losing Jordan Howard with the stinger. We've heard that phrase before, and it wasn't very solid in terms of how that ended up playing out. What else was there? Herbig was a bit banged up too, so something to keep your eyes out for as we have 2 more division games sneaking up on us here. And this was such a quick turnaround. It's almost like, how many days do we have again until that next football matchup on the gridiron? Because it's just such a bizarre sequence that we're at. Once they kicked that field goal, though, right around as the first half was ending to tie it 3-3. Some wanted them to put their foot on the gas and try and score a touchdown. I was willing to kick the points, knowing, once again, and I mentioned this before when they were playing Gilbert on Washington, right? That Washington, they were a mess. When you know your opponent, it's not okay. If you're playing Rodgers, Mahomes, go for it. You know you're going to need to score points because they can score at will, and it's scary. When you're playing Jake Fromm or Gilbert or Mike Glennon, you name it, grab the points. Let's go. It's been tough. It's been an awful watch. Nick Sirianni's game plan was putrid early on, throwing the football a billion times. When you did run, Miles Sanders picks up 10. Miles Sanders picks up 12. Miles Sanders picks up 14. But no, when you're dropping it back, you haven't dropped passes. Guys not mentally prepared to make the catches. The execution was very poor. It's like, yo, Nick, I just praised you so much last week for finally turning that damn page with me. It's like, we've been watching this team run the ball at a historic rate. Not just a good rate, not just a great rate, a historic rate. Yet you believe against this New York Giants football team, the best decision was, let's drop back Jalen Hurts and let's ask him to throw the rock. Why? You already know what your team is all about. You know what has gotten you here. You know why this team has been explosive. Now, I wonder, because throughout stretches I'm going, how many carries does Jalen Hurts have? 1? How come there hasn't been too many read options where Jalen Hurts is taking off with the football? Quick turnaround. That ankle. Is there a correlation with the lack of Jalen Hurts running? Because there was that one run, the first run of the game for him. He takes it to the right sideline, picks up maybe 1 or 2 yards, and it wasn't powerful. It wasn't explosive until we saw him get hit when he was sliding. The defender's arm got wrapped around his neck a bit. There was a bit more jump and a bit more juice in that run, but that's not the level of running that we are accustomed to seeing out of Jalen Hurts. So is there a correlation with them trying to throw the football a lot more and Jalen Hurts' ankle, short turnaround, not running it, not him running specifically a lot? I'm just trying to look for answers here on why you would ever in a billion years get away from what has been one bright, shining moment through this schedule or season is your run game. Your run game is lethal. So how would it ever in a billion years get to that? Please inform me, because to me, it really does make no sense. Now, a hot topic surrounding this team is they beat the teams that are bad, they lose to the teams that are good. It's kind of making sense, though, no? I mean, are people outraged by that? Are you disgusted by that? Well, they're beating teams that are quarterbacked by Matt Ryan, and now you're getting into the debacles of the world that Daniel Jones and Heineke, even though they're not anything special anyway, you're playing their backups. No, yeah, there's no doubt about it. You lose to the Mahomes, you lose to the Bradys, you lost to the Herberts, and then you're beating these obnoxiously horrendous teams, except for the last time you played the Giants, but everybody sort of has their stinker on their schedule, hence why we saw Tom Brady throw up a goose egg the other night. I mean, it does happen. To act as if that's never allowed, well, it happens to every single team in every single season. So just be aware of that as you study and analyze whatever team you're rooting for. It's inevitable that there will be at least one. I mean, you're lucky if it's just one on the schedule. Yeah, you lost to the playoff teams, and you're beating the teams that are fringe playoff / non-playoff teams. That makes about sense considering where this team is. If I told you that the Eagles are basically the better of the fringe squads, then I think that kind of summarizes it perfectly on why we're getting the results that we're getting. So, and when you look at this division, based off of how poor they are, it puts you in a position, and the fact that the NFL added a team, okay. I'm not against that, though. Here we are. These are the rules. This is what the league is now, and let's see if they can take advantage of that. If you think about this team and the fact that you can't start slow against better opponents, no doubt about it. I'm with you 1,000%. But I also feel, whether it's right or wrong, when you know what type of environment you're in, you're on the road, you're playing a playoff game, this and that, the level of focus, the level of intensity, the determination throughout the week, and that's another thing I forgot to even talk about, is the fact that Nick Sirianni goes through his COVID protocols, and you want to talk about him being virtually there throughout meetings, then okay, you can say that and all, but that's another part that impacts your team. Your head coach just isn't there throughout this super short week of getting ready against the Giants. I'm sure that plays a role too on the adversity that they battle. Once again, this isn't excuses. Oh, you're making excuses. Jalen Hurts sucked, this and that. They played poorly. The entire team, special teams, fumbling the ball early on, Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Reagor going backwards. Now, he ended up setting you up very nicely in that second half here. And what I talked about, when they tied the game up 3-3 in that first half, once they got their flow going from there, I mean, they just put it together. McLeod interception, Avery gets to Fromm, Goddard touchdown on one play after that, but there was a flag on the play due to a Quez Watkins hold, which I thought was absolute garbage of a call. But anyway, Howard gets a reception. He gets a tough run after that. Howard gets another small gain, and then it's 2nd and goal. That was on 2nd and goal. Scott runs in for the touchdown, 10-3. My man's is a Giants killer. He knows whenever he sees a jersey that's blue and you're playing against a team from New York, it is all money from him. Milton Williams. This sequence I thought was actually pretty big. So it's a 10-3 game, right? You can tell that there's life in the building, but Milton Williams, a 10-yard loss on a great play. And then Avery, where with time and space, it looked like the Giants had a play that was perfectly executed with a ton of speed, a wide open field, right? Everything's there for a big explosive play. And Jannard Avery out of nowhere just makes a shoelace trip you up style of tackle. And I went, whoa. I'm sure everybody else sort of had that reaction too, like, wow, what could have been, what would have been if that level of effort wasn't there to get back and, really save some potential damage that would have been landed. It forces the Giants to punt the football, and from there, you end up getting a 37-yard field goal by the Eagles after Reagor's nice punt return. He got a nice ovation after that, as he deserved for making a nice play. You're up 13-3. Now we're watching all sorts of nonsense, right? And I don't say nonsense in any bad way. I say nonsense is just craziness. You got Lane Johnson. You got our boy Lane. I mean, come on, man. When Lane Johnson scores that touchdown and you go, 65? You do the old eye wipe and you're wiping your eyes to double check. Was that 65? You get a big smile on your face. He tries to do the big leap, the big jump up. The big man can barely get up there. But, I know that this was all talked about on social media, and you look at the timeline of what he went through. But seriously, think about it. I mean, he left the game and had to take a step away from this football team, which is tough for him to do, knowing how much he cares and the blood, sweat, and tears and the professional that he is for the mental health side of things. And he returns, and now he's got a play drawn up to score a big fella touchdown. I mean, the emotions that are running through my body just thinking about it. I could only imagine what he was going throughout that, throughout that catch right there into his hands. Awesome. And, of course, Alex Singleton picks it. They just took over. So from that field goal in the first half, it was all Eagles there. You want to talk about incompetence from the Giants? I won't run away from that. I won't shy from that at all. And Jalen Hurts seems to have a common trend right now, which is slow starts, and when it's bad, it's bad. When it's ugly, it is probably one of the worst forms of ugly that you can see, right? He's running around, he's trying to force something on third down, and it should have been intercepted. He's getting hit from behind and trying to escape the pocket. It's bad, there's no doubt. But then when he throws the ball like he does to DeVonta Smith in the end zone, that's a dot. And when he hits, look, sometimes, like for example, you want to go back to the Washington football team game when he threw that pass up to Dallas Goedert, who went up and mossed the defender. It's a 50-50 ball, but I'm bringing that up to you because you look at this throw to DeVonta Smith, you look at the throw to Quez Watkins, some of the reaction is, he could have done this, he could have done that. In this league, you see your receivers, they have matchups you like, you throw the football up, and I'm not saying they can't be better. Is it possible you lead guys a certain way? Yeah, sure, no doubt about it, but it's also said to be true that your receivers go up and make a play, put the football in an area where your receivers can go beat their defender, rise up, and make a play happen, and Jalen Hurts has done that over the last couple of weeks, to really kind of see some of these bigger plays. 22 yards to Smith, 40-something to Smith a little bit later on, 46 yards to Smith. So, you saw it. Hurts to Quez for a 40-yard reception. Put the ball up and let your receiver have a chance. It's crazy what happens when players actually catch the ball and when they high point the football and when they have speed to get by defenders and beat their opponents. So, all around, things got smoother, and I know we keep saying that can't happen. You're going to have to fix things, and there's no doubt that that's the case, especially if you're thinking more you want to win a playoff game. But that's so much. It's like, hey, you won't be able to beat the good teams and yes, there's no doubt. I don't think anybody's denying that. I think that's a very fair evaluation. But right now, when you think of it one game at a time, let's not go overboard on what does this mean, this and that. If you were to play the Cardinals, if you're to play the Rams, if you're to play this, I'm just spitballing teams, but let's just see what happens against the Washington football team next Sunday before we start. But, you can't play this way against another. Yeah, no shit. But maybe if you're not playing this trash squad that you're seeing, maybe there's just a different level of juice. Whether it should be that way or shouldn't be that way, who knows? I've seen some crazy damn things in this league. I watch the New York Jets win football games. Yeah, the New York Jets. This team won games. The Giants. Somehow this Giants team won games. I've seen bonkers stuff. What is bonkers? DeSimone's prices, because they're A+. You walk in there and you see the size of some of these diamonds and you go, excuse me, how much is this? And they tell you how low it is. Oh, whoa! I'll take 9. I mean, seriously. DeSimone Jewelers, they are my jewelers. I went to them for my fiance's engagement ring. I went back for Christmas, for her birthday, for the random Tuesday, just because I'm a good guy. That's right. They're a family-owned business located in Haddonfield, New Jersey, previously in Jewelers Row. Will, Lou, Nick, and Mike, they work with you to get the best design at the most reasonable price you will find in the market. You are part of the DeSimone family when you walk in there. You're not just a customer where they're trying to make a quick buck. They truly care about you, and they love educating you about exactly what you're purchasing. They tell you the difference in the diamonds and the clarity. They give you actually tools. They take you outside. They show you the difference in, this is why this is this, and that is why that is that. And it really is something awesome to make you relate to what you're actually purchasing for your significant other. So we know know that Christmas is obviously over, but there are plenty of holidays still kind of here, and you could just be awesome just to be, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's put a big smile on her face. Let's put a big smile on his face. Whatever the case is. Huh? I'm telling you. It's not a bad idea. They provide custom jewelry design, jewelry repairs, appraisals, watch repairs, battery replacement, and so much more. Tell them that Brode sent you. DeSimoneJewelers.com. Their website is in the description. Definitely make sure you check them out. So yeah, like my full on just from a broad type of viewpoint here, and from like the bird side view, is that what it's called? I feel like Allah says that every single time they show clips throughout the Sixers game. Here's the bird side view. Am I saying that right? I don't know. It sounds a little funky. Regardless, this team, they did what they needed to do against a Giant team. They played a team that sucked. But when they play a team that sucked, they win 34-10. That last touchdown happened when the game was basically over. Their defense had a handful of interceptions. I forgot about Darius Slay. The fact that we talk about those early stages and the nightmares and the debacles that we witnessed. Darius Slay, the ball is right there. And if I remember correctly, that actually resulted in a field goal. Yes, the Giants ended up, Epps had a huge hit on Cooper over the middle. They connect on a 3rd and 4 play. They connect on a 3rd and 2 play to Tony. And I'm going, really? This Giants offense is actually establishing something? Please stop it. I'm going to vomit out my ass. I swear to God. And then Slay drops the easy interception. They nail a 54-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead. Please, how does this keep happening? They ended up, though, destroying a team. And if I told you before the game again, the Eagles will win by 24, you'd probably think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The Giants are weak. Imagine being a skill position player and lining up on your offensive line, and you know that Mike Glennon or Fromm is showing you the football. It's got to be a miserable experience, no? Do you run those routes with authority? Now, the basic answer would be you're a professional. So you put that behind you. Don't worry about it. Just play. Focus on yourself as a pro athlete. I got you. That sounds all great and dandy. Then experience it, though, after being in the league for a couple years and realizing, this guy sucks. I'm never going to get the football at all. And then Joe Judge is your head coach. They're doing things. How about that one play where they go for it on 3rd because you think they're going to set it up for like a 4th down, go for it. And then they realize, we're going to trot out the punting team anyway. You got to imagine that Joe Judge, the special teams guy that he is just loving it. Like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is phenomenal. I totally got them where I want them. Joe, you're a loser. You're a loser. The integrity of the game, right? Oh, you got to make sure the integrity of the game. This is what he's saying last year when the Eagles didn't allow the 6-10 Giants to sneak into the playoffs in a shitty NFC East. My man now is calling timeouts in a 24-point game because he thinks that the players deserve respect. If I'm a player on that team and my coach forces me to be out there longer than I need to be, I go, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Let me out of here. This is embarrassing. Oh, it's crap what the Giants show out there. And yeah, you want to talk about it where you go, I can't believe the Eagles actually lost to this team. Yeah. The Houston Texans have wins. The Jets have wins. The Lions have wins. They even have a tie. It is probably brutal to think about when you fully analyze what you lost to. But at the same time, you go through the teams that win Super Bowls, go through their history of their regular season record, and point out a game that doesn't stand out and stick out like a sore thumb. Where they probably shouldn't have fallen to that one. Probably was a tough, weird spot for whatever the case is. So you can do that to any team ever. Just so happened this Eagles team lost to this Giants team who elect to continue to move forward with that. It's an odd feeling, though. It's an odd feeling. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to act as if this is all dandelions and roses and hey, bravo. This is exactly it. This is what I was looking for. It wasn't that. The first half is a common theme, and Nick Sirianni not realizing the strengths of this football team is just one of the most mind-numbing, bizarre things, especially knowing that we've been ranting and raving about it forever, and I almost feel like he wants this league to think that they have another element to them, right? Because great teams can win in multiple different ways. This team, really, when you're not playing this style of football team on the other side, they can win with one way, and that's running the football down your throat. So is he trying, sort of like what he does with Jalen Reagor, he tries to force feed them to establish something that's not really there, and they really want to try and bolster his confidence and go, hey, nudge, nudge, hey, Jalen, you're on to something, giving him a little noogie, like he's that brother that gets picked on all the time. Right? Hey, come on. Is he doing the same thing with this offense in general? Where it's, hey, little noogie on the passing game. Hey, this passing game's elite. Hey, this passing game's not as bad as you think. I don't know if this motion's even, I'm trying to do the noogie here. I don't know if that even looks like that. It kind of looks like I'm driving. Like I'm driving with one hand on the top of my steering wheel. Anyway, it doesn't feel great, but they did what they were supposed to do. It's a lot of mixed emotions. I'm hearing Seth Joyner on the post-game show talk about, hey, they won the game, while everybody else is going, this won't work. Yeah, they won, this won't work. And Seth Joyner, of all people, is taking the high road. I'm somewhere in between. I lean more towards appreciating the outcome and the result, even though we're fully aware of the Giants, and we're fully aware of that first half. But I also go back to, while Dallas Goedert might actually have a catching the football problem, is Darius Slay dropping that pass often? Miles Sanders might have some drops. Jalen Reagor might have some drops, yeah. But the level that it's happening right now, is that the Eagles this year? Now, in years past, yes, with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who, hey, we can't downplay that fumble recovery early. That's why you draft those second-round wide receivers. And I thought it was hysterical on the broadcast when Jalen Reagor's actually bringing it back with his punt return. That's why the Eagles drafted him. Excuse me? He has sucked. He's been miserable, actually pathetic in the punt return game. So if you're telling me they drafted him for the results that they're getting in that area, that's bad. That's not very good. It's not. It really isn't. Where I was going with that, though, is like in years past, who was it? Travis Fulgham, Jay Jaw. When you're picking up guys off the street, yeah, you know what? The tendency was dropping passes all the time. And maybe the answer is, well, they don't pass a lot, therefore you don't really know that. And when you force the football throwing more, you start to see that. But Dallas Goedert, is this part of Dallas Goedert? Right now it is. I'd have to say right now it is. But is it long term? I don't see that being the case. I think it's just a lack of concentration more than it is the inability to catch the football smoother. It's strange, but I don't see the level of fumbles and miscues that's been happening the last couple of games being them forever. So they got to snap out of this, because while it's popped up here and there, it hasn't been a full theme. Early on penalties, yes, but once they got over the first month and a half or so and got into the NFL season structure, they were solid. So I chalk that up to more just them not really playing much in preseason and things of that nature. And the training camps and all that, taking the new approach that this new era of football really tends to go down with some of these veteran players. But when you start looking at them since that moment, is this really been that? Not really. So why is it happening? You got to study and analyze, if you're the head coach, on how to make an impact here where this isn't the case. It goes on you. Maybe it's play calling and getting yourself more established with the run game, and so then the passing game, it just helps everything out and there's less stress and emphasis on that. I don't know. But that's on you, Nick Sirianni, to find ways to clean those areas up, because the execution as of late hasn't been as crisp. Not that it's the most crisp in the world normally, but it hasn't been as crisp as we've seen in other games, and that should not be the case. That's where we're going to kind of end things here. Before I let you go, Winview is the nation's leading sports predictor, allowing you to compete in pregame live contests against other people, not the house. You have questions lined up. This is such a great app. Winview.tv/Broads. Check it out. You can play for free. You could play for cash. I've been winning money left and right. You just answer questions. For example, is DeVonta Smith going to have 40 passing yards? And then you kind of answer the question. Are the Eagles going to win the game? You answer the question, right? So there's a list. There's a handful of questions. If you answer them correctly, you're cashing out. It's so damn fun. It's like TikTok. You sit there and you scroll for hours. I sit there and I scroll throughout the entire sports schedule basically every day. And I mean, come on, fellas. I ain't going to lie. The stack that's in the wallet right now, hey, it's all because of this. And a little bit because my grandma gave me a card for Christmas. But outside of that, it's all because of Winview. And you'd be a fool not to download the app utilizing the link in the description, winview.tv/Broads. That would help me out tremendously. But you'd be a fool not to give it a shot. Give it a whirl. Give it a try. You'll probably end up banking too, making some bank as well. And it's just a lot of fun. It's so unique. It's not salary caps. It's not it's not trends and the over-under on the total and all that. It's not just your basic sports book. It's new. It's unique. It's different. It's creative. And I think you would really enjoy it. I know I have, and a lot of my friends as well. Winview.tv/Broads. With that, I'm going to let you run. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.